You know, raising a family is hard enough, so why not simplify your approach? In fact, how does this approach sound? Pick the parenting strategies that work and toss the rest. Studio 5 relationship coach Dr. Matt Townsend is here to let us know which ones should stay and which ones should go. I should clarify, you're not tossing out the kids.
No, don't toss the kids.
You're tossing
you will get in big trouble.
Strategies?
Yeah, strategies, and more importantly, maybe beliefs. We have handed down a lot of beliefs about parenting that aren't necessarily accurate. They're not necessarily real. And as soon as you get rid of the belief, or at least recognize I've got that belief, then you can start to say, okay, it's not working for me anymore. I have a lot of parents that bring their kids in and they want me to fix them. And when they sit down, I almost always would rather just meet with the parent and then start teaching them some things instead of the child. The minute the child's there, it puts a lot of pressure on them to have to go be fixed. But I've found a lot of the problems can just be adjusted if parents would adjust just a few ways of thinking.
Kids are so individual, though.
Yeah,
so
totally.
How do those individual personalities play into an idea like this?
Well, part of it is that that's one of the big keys. At some point, kids aren't all the same, right? So, and as soon as you understand that every kid's going to be a little bit different, everything's going to be a little bit different, which means there's not always these tried and tested ways of raising a child. You've got to actually critique the belief, look at the belief, and then see if the belief is getting you results.
All right, belief number one, today's mistakes are tomorrow's problems. Where do we go wrong with that?
A lot of parents believe if my child's having problems today, mistakes today, I got to get on it. I got to stop them from making that mistake, because if I don't, they'll be a drug addict, they'll live in poverty, and they start to panic and freak out. But when you take that belief, so a lot of kids' mistakes are normal. That's just what kids do. They don't quite know how to organize their life perfectly. They might fail a test here and there. So don't panic and don't think it's permanent, and don't act like it is going to be permanent. A lot of parents end up telling their kids, if you don't learn this now, you're never going to go to college, you're never going to, and they make it so permanent that the kid all of a sudden starts to believe that they're permanently broken, and they start to lose hope. Kids need to have a hope that I can get out of this, I can change, I can fix this, but parents bring a lot of intensity because of our own fears about how permanent these little mistakes are.
So intensity, one word, is overreacting, another word?
We overreact, yeah. And we get we get so on top of something that is really kind of normal behavioral growth and developmental stuff that we overemphasize it, and if you shine too much light on it, they will actually receive it as a bigger deal than it might be.
The next belief, you touched on this, one size fits all. No child is created equal.
No, but we sometimes believe they all are. And we're surprised that the third child's so much different than the first child. I do that all the time. My fifth child's so much harder than my fourth child.
You had this in your own family. You talked about that pretty openly. Different dynamics, different personalities at play.
Which is why don't ever think that there's kind of only one style to parent, or one child. Every child will kind of be received the same, and we can take them on the same. So blow up that idea. They're not the same, and so that means to some degree you've got to go figure out what they are and what they need and what they don't need. We could keep trying to overparent one kid that doesn't need it and exhaust him, and meanwhile underparent another kid that might need more parenting. So you can manage your resources more effectively, but not by not believing everyone's exactly the same.
So the pressure really is on the parent. I mean, the work starts over with every kid.
It's always the grown-ups that have to do the work, right?
Yeah.
And but we expect the young ones to just kind of get in line, but it's us. This is hard stuff.
This might be a dumb question, but how do you know if your parenting approach is working with that particular child? Because you're always going to have conflict during the teenage years. You're always going to have kids making mistakes like you talked about. But how do you know if your parenting approach is really working? Where's the gold star?
One of the gold stars is they come to you. So if they actually circle back and come to you looking for information, or do you notice that every time we interact, they get farther and farther from us? If we're losing them and losing influence with them, our method is probably not working very well.
All right, not to call this a parent smackdown, but you say sometimes we take a little too much credit for the work that we're doing. In other words, mom and dad know best.
Mom and dad always know best, and we actually believe that because we're more mature. But if you've ever...
Some of us
are super immature. And when you start to realize that I'm losing it, I don't know as much as I think I know. One of the things to remember is your child may know best what they like, what motivates them. Do you know how many times I've had parents come in wanting me to fix something in their child, and then I ask the child why they don't do that one thing. Why don't you do your homework? And they're like, I don't even know how. I don't know how to do it. And I'm like, did you guys know he didn't know how to do his homework? Well, he says that, but we know he does because he's a very smart child. Well, listen to your kid. Your kid may know best. And certain things they may be doing or showing you are signs that may tell you really the code you can follow to fix this problem or deal with this problem more effectively. You may not know. Most parents haven't read a parenting book, honestly. They haven't. Most haven't taken a parenting class. And so don't assume you know because you're an adult now. We got to assume there's a lot of insight into these kids.
How interesting of a child could be the teacher, though.
They generally are, especially of their needs, of their
sure,
issues.
That makes sense. That makes sense. Kids can be good or bad. You say that's another belief that really holds us up.
Don't be a bad boy. That was bad. You're bad. Don't do that. That was naughty. You are so naughty.
Well, and the finger's out. I'm feeling
so the minute you do
that,
then I'm making your being good or bad. Kids can't be good or bad. They can't be. They're awesome. They're beautiful. They're perfect. Gifts from heaven. And some of their things they do a little off, some less healthy, some not so smart. So other words are better than good or bad.
Like what? Give us some vocab.
You know what? That's not a healthy thing to do. We don't do that. You know what? That's not a very helpful thing to do. Let's not do that. That's not a very kind thing. Let's be kind. Okay, and so instead of me saying what you aren't, say what we are looking to be. We're looking to be nicer here. Can we be nicer? Let's be nicer. And the reason we do that is a child will actually pick up that they're bad. And once they get the idea that they're bad and they've heard it 2 or 3 times, what do you project they're going to do? What do people that think they're bad do? They just do bad, and it starts to self-fulfill. So be careful that we don't judge themselves. We judge with nothing, really. We don't have to judge anything. We can just correct it.
We can identify the behavior in a positive way, but not at the child. I like that. I think that's really important. Finally, you can relive your life through your kids.
So many parents
you see this a lot.
Are trying to live vicariously through their children.
Yeah.
Stop it. Stop it. This is their world. This is their life. This was their state championship. If they don't win, get over it. Get over it. If they don't get into the choir you wanted them to get into, get over it. Let the child live their life, because think about what a burden it is to live your life anyway, but to then have to carry your mom's and dad's dreams on your shoulders because they didn't make choir or they didn't get into a program, or it's too much. So allow them to have their own life, allow them to succeed, allow them to fail, get out of their way and allow things to happen to them so that they learn what life is about.
I loved this so much.
Huge.
Good job, Matt. Good job. MattTownsend.com is where we can get more topics like this.
Huge stuff, and Christmas galore. So there's Christmas presents. Go get all your friends presents to our date night. We give you a discount.
What a great gift.
It's a super great gift. Parents, take all of your adult kids to the next date night.
Yeah.
All of our books, audios, workshops, everything's online.
My parents want to come. My mom wants to come.
Oh, yeah, I'll get your mom in.
Bring them next time.
I'll get her in.
I said I know someone who might be able to let you through the door.
I'll get her in the back door.
It's awesome. It's awesome. Thanks, Matt.